What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the LA Soccer Hub Show. My name is Gio Garcia. Today's Tuesday, August 10th. And every Tuesday, we're talking LAFC. There's a lot going on with LAFC. The black and gold. It's been a tough stretch of games for them. They haven't won in 5 games. Twitter's blowing up. Obviously, we're gonna have to talk about Bob Bradley. That's the topic of what we're getting into later today. But we got to start off the news, man. PSG. If you can see my jersey, I'm gonna zoom it in a little bit. Lionel Messi, he's in Paris now. I wish I could say I'm a number one PSG fan, but I'm not. I got this jersey back in March. I really like the design, so it kind of worked well with what happened. The big news that happened today. So we're gonna talk about that. But let me introduce my guests. We got once again LAFC Hawaii, and as always, we got JP Marquez, and back again in the show, we got Blake LAFC Central. Blake, how you doing? It's been a minute, my brother.
It's been a minute. I'm doing fine, besides the LAFC stuff.
Yeah. Look, I know. I think LAFC Hawaii and JP definitely know how you're feeling. But look, I'm excited to have you on the show. Hawaii, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah. JP, how you doing? Let's talk about your Barcelona jersey.
Yeah, I mean, growing up, you watch Ronaldinho, you watch Xavi, you watch Iniesta, you fall in love with Barca thanks to obviously Messi. So I'm never gonna not be a Barca fan. It's just gonna be a bit hard. Not seeing the number 10, the best player in the world there. He wanted to be there, it just couldn't happen. I'm obviously gonna follow him in Paris. I was never the biggest PSG fan, but I ultimately think he's gonna succeed. There's no excuse now with that team. The only caveat I see would be Pochettino not having won anything, but that I think can change. So yeah.
Oh, are you changing your alliance to PSG now? Because I
No,
know you're a big Messi fan. I know you're a big Messi
I'm
fan.
a Messi fan. Everyone that knows me knows that I defended Messi before winning the Copa America. Now he's the greatest. He's the top. There's no debate. But yeah, I mean, if PSG, play a random team like Chelsea, a not so good team like Chelsea, I want PSG to win.
That's a dig at me right there. That's sort of a dig at me. I know what you're doing.
Sure. But if Barca plays PSG, ultimately, Barca to win. But if Messi wins, then I won't be, sad or devastated.
Gotcha. I feel you. Hawaii, how you feeling? How you feeling about the news about Messi going to PSG? Tell me how you feel, because I know that there was a lot of mixed emotions. I seriously forgot that there was fans that would feel sad, because I was just like, oh man, this is just crazy. But I saw a couple people on Twitter, and I know JP was sad. He was crying and everything. But how did you take the news? What did you think about this?
JP was real salty. We let him have a bunch of those salty emojis and stuff like this. He's very upset about this. But I was telling JP he's gonna leave. He's gonna leave. No way, 100%. Not it's gonna happen. And he left. I think it's good. The thing with PSG is look, they want to win it all. And they have a squad to be able to do it. And I knew Messi would, if he did leave, it was going to be PSG. Him and Neymar have a great relationship. And PSG has went out and bought the best players this year on the offseason also. It's to see what they did is very dangerous. Now, I will disagree. I think if there is only one team that can maybe give them a run for their money, it could be, Chelsea. But I follow both teams. With Juve hasn't done enough this offseason. So I'm okay with him going to PSG. It's going to be awesome to watch. Now, the weirdest part about it is going to be him wearing that number 30. That's going to be interesting.
Well, that's how he started his career, right? That's what it is. He started his career at number 30.
Yeah. I'm just sort of surprised that they didn't give up the 10. That's all,
I mean, I think Neymar
He
did
chose not
offer
to get
it,
it.
but he chose
not to take it.
Yeah. Blake, how you feeling about obviously the Messi news? Obviously, it was worldwide news. But how you feeling about this news?
I guess what's bound to happen with everything that's been happening in Barcelona. But I mean, if you could scroll up on what you have up right now on, I think it's PSG's Instagram, the following, like I call it the Messi effect. They've like spiked by like 2 million just within today after announcing it. They were at like 39 million I've been watching this a few days ago, which is just
43 million because I just followed them.
40, oh.
No, I'm just kidding.
It's just it's crazy to see how much of a fan base he brings with him, whether it's the bandwagon Barcelona fans. I wonder how many of them will actually stick with Barcelona after they've invested so much money in all the jerseys compared to moving to PSG. But it's crazy. I'm gonna be excited to watch him there, but also kind of root against him because I'm not a fan of the big teams that spend all the money in other leagues that bring all the attention. I like the smaller teams with the cool stories. So I'll be rooting against him, but it will be very excited to see what happens with it.
JP, how do you feel seeing Messi so happy with PSG? Like, look at his face. Look how happy he looks now. He's not sad. Yeah, I know there was like rumors or something that Barcelona had like a last minute offer at 2 a.m. To me, that just sounded like a toxic relationship trying to fix it like last minute. But to see your boy so happy, how do you feel looking at that?
I mean,
just taunting
he's moved on,
questions.
JP.
He ultimately understood that it was Barca was going to come to an end, and like there was just no coming back. I mean, it was the La Liga rule, and then it was the Spanish law that stopped it. So he's coming off the Copa America win. He's coming off like his the happiest moment of his career. I ultimately think he's like, I gave it all for Barca. It's a new adventure. It's a new chapter, and he knows he can win here. So he's very excited to finish off his career, maybe with another Champions League, and really propel himself to that last World Cup where he can maybe, make a great run for it. So I mean, seeing him happy, if he's happy, I'm happy. Obviously, it's weird seeing him, with a Jordan logo with Paris and all that.
That looks pretty cool. I like the
it looks
logo.
cool, but it's you just don't expect it. I wonder if he's gonna learn French. He doesn't really. He only masters Spanish, but I want to see how that pans out. But yeah, I mean, it's very interesting, and it's gonna get some getting used to. But I'm happy for him. He's happy. I'm happy, and I know he's gonna keep on being the best for the next 2 to 3 years, I think, and then Father Time will come and take him away.
Yeah, but look, I feel so glad I made this investment on the jersey. Like, this is probably like my third or fourth time actually wearing it since March. And now I can just walk around LA like, yo, I've been a PSG
Now he's a
fan.
full-fledged PSG
Now I've been a PSG fan since day one.
Don't even.
Look,
I'm on there about you one of the older jerseys too.
You're gonna see me rock this jersey every show from now on. No, I'm just kidding. I look.
Were you a Messi fan?
Huh?
Were you a Messi fan?
All right, so the truth comes out. That is a great
question.
That is a great question. So my brother is a big Barcelona fan. So whenever we played like FIFA, I was always like Real Madrid. Okay. So like I respect Messi. I think Messi obviously the GOAT. But look, I got the jersey, so like,
so it don't matter.
I know, like, I'm not gonna fight. I got the jersey because it's cool. That's the reason. But now I just got brownie points and just walking around. So look, I'm not a real PSG fan. So
PSG makes some of the coolest jerseys around. So
yeah, they do, and I think they got like a PSG store in LA. I think they got
they do now.
So that's gonna be interesting too. So. We'll see what happens. All right. I want to say this. What's up to a couple people. Dale says what's up. LAFC Kui says what's up. LAC Live says boys representing Hawaii and JP. Nico says hello guys. Good show. Can't wait. Eric says what's up.
All our boys, JP.
Anna Gonzalez says, wow, nice shirt, Gio. Thank you, Anna. Got a supporter.
Don't encourage it.
Yeah. Look, but yeah, look, that's the thing, because I'd get murdered if I wear like any LAFC stuff, any Galaxy stuff. So look, I got to go to the European style. Look, we're here to talk LAFC. Let's talk LAFC. I felt like it was important to talk about Messi and what was going on around there. We had and rub it into JP because that's what we do here in the show. He's feeling hurt. He's feeling hurt, and we gotta we just got to punish them a little bit more.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. I want to talk about LAFC and the lineup. Let's start off with the lineup. Let me just pull up here the lineup. Obviously, we know what happened with the result against San Jose. Everything, obviously, tough result. Not the result we LAFC wanted. So we'll go with obviously, we had Tomas Romero goal, Kim Moon, Jesus Murillo, Blackman as the center backs, and Chiqui Palacios on the left back. In the middle, obviously, it was Janela, Cifuentes, Atuesta. And up top, you had Rodriguez, Vela. And to my surprise, you had Chicho Arango get the start over Diego Rossi. Diego Rossi, he has struggled this year. Hawaii, what were your thoughts, obviously, looking at this lineup and how Bob Bradley went with the lineup?
Exactly what you said. Sort of surprised that Rossi sits, but then in a way, you're sort of not because of how he's been playing. Everybody knows I'm a huge Rossi fan, so I hated seeing that. And look, we get to see what Arango has. That was good. Back to the 4-3-3. Not. I wasn't super stoked about that. I personally would have. I put this on my thing, so I'll say I was sort of thinking Rodriguez would sit. We would still have the 3-5-2, and if Arango started, it would be Arango and Vela up top, just to see how it flowed that way. Because for me, we're just not a 4-3-3 team anymore.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair enough. JP, give me your thoughts on this lineup. Obviously, Arango getting the start. I think that was really impressive. To me, that also spoke that the man is in shape. The man is game shape ready, and he doesn't need too much to adapt, physically wise.
Yeah, I mean, he was coming off preseason with Millonarios. Millonarios, has preseason or just started their season. I'm not completely sure, but yeah, he was ready. He's been ready, so that's always good. This was the starting lineup I expected, with Segura out and the incorporation of Ibiaga, if that's how you pronounce it, or I'll just call him Sebastian because that's his first name and that's easier. But with that, I expected it. We're not a 5 in the back team anymore. With Segura's injury, we just can't play it anymore. At least not for like the next two weeks. Fall needs to get more minutes, and Sebas needs to get more minutes to try to incorporate them next to Murillo in the 5 in the back. But yeah, I mean, Blessing was out in the midweek, so Guinela was going to fill in that role. And then I'm glad B-Rod got his first start. He ultimately got pulled in the first half, in the halftime, which I didn't agree with. But I'm pretty sure we'll get into that later. And yeah, Arango. I just didn't like how Arango was used in the game. If Vela and Rossi have been best when the number 9 stays in the middle, Arango was playing at the 9, was on the wing, was on the other wing, would check in. And if it's your first game in MLS, I don't care if it's against San Jose or whoever it is, you cannot have a player playing 4 positions in your first game in MLS. It's just never going to work. He should have just stuck at the 9, and Vela and B-Rod, play how they play on the wings. I just think that was maybe, on Bob or however the game panned out. But, next game, if he starts, I want him, to stay at the 9 and then maybe incorporate himself in the wing in the future.
Yeah, but I think he still looked good though. Like he
didn't look bad. He didn't look bad
with the movement. But I think that's how this offense is set up for Bob, is in the 4-3-2 to move around. But he looked good. But we'll get more into Arango later. But I appreciate your analysis. Blake, give me your thoughts, obviously, on the lineup and what you thought.
Yeah, Romero still starting. I do wonder if he will. I mean, he's such a young keeper with Cisniega. LAFC and goalies never really had a specific. I mean, Miller was kind of for a bit. It looked like Cisniega was, and Vermeer. So I won't be surprised if Romero doesn't start the next game, but I won't also not be surprised if he does start the game. Murillo starting came off. I forget exactly what time he came off, but that made sense with at halftime with the injury. He's coming off of that. Blessing not starting, that made sense. He can play during the week. Arango starting did surprise me because just, how this was his first appearance as well alongside the start, right?
Yeah, and he just got here this week, so that was
that really surprised me. I'd expect him to come in for, if Rossi and I assume Rossi would start instead of him. I'd expect him to come in for Rossi at like the halftime or even 60-70 minutes. So that surprised me. And I mean, you said we'll touch on him a bit later, but it's been interesting to see the team go back and forth from different formations. I don't think we really have a formation set in stone right now.
Yeah, and I think it's also limited on the number of center backs because Sebastian. I'm surprised Sebastian didn't get into the game. I know Fall had looked good, but look, to me, the reason why I was surprised to see Arango start, not because I don't think he's talented, is because I think Danny Masovsky, he had scored last game, right? He had scored, and he did a good job. So I was surprised, like
Mazovsky's been pretty good. I mean, I definitely expected either him or Rossi. I mean, I think Bob touched on Rossi post game about how he hasn't been at his best this season. So Mazovsky coming in, I wonder if he can play full 90 for LAFC. I think he's just been coming on as a sub. So it'd be interesting to see us run him for one game and then see what happens towards the halftime or even a little later.
Yeah, you talked about Romero, so I got the highlights. We got to talk about this goal, the first goal, because it didn't look good, and obviously LAFC started pretty good to start the game, but obviously the score, I believe it came in the first. I'll play the highlight and we'll go over it.
Box, there's no one up top at midfield. Espinoza going near post. Oh, there it is! Goal! San Jose! Well, I don't know if Nathan gets any part of it, but Crispin Espinoza does exactly what we ask him to do. He asked the netminder, can he make a save? Can he get behind it? He puts it in hard. Romero hesitates. And here we go. Espinoza sees that near post, and Romero just reacts, but I think Nathan just gets a toe to it. I'm not sure. We'll have to see who the statisticians give credit to, and it looks like he just gets.
So obviously, I know we're looking there at the play. It was not obviously you never want to get scored near post if you're a goalkeeper, right? But I think what was also interesting after that play. I think Bob mentioned that Brian moved and stuff, and I think now I see it after seeing the replay. But you never know where the ball is going to go. But Hawaii, what are your thoughts on that play and that goal? And it's a set piece.
Set pieces is just one of our downfalls always, right? So we're not really good at them, anyways. So I think Tomas could have done a better job for sure. I think it did look like the guy got that toe on it. So how are you really gonna, if you're going one way and it goes in, what are you gonna do with that? But one thing I do want to say is I definitely don't think Tomas should get benched. I think he's our starting goalie. The last two games haven't been great. I can agree with that. But at the end of the day, he's a young kid and he's who we're rolling with, and we don't need to be benching him and getting his confidence down. We need to roll with this kid and let him have a couple of games. And look, he had 3 really good games. He's had 2 bad games. So there's no sense in just jumping ship right now and start the back and forth thing, because these next few games are super critical for LAFC. And we need him to be back there with some confidence.
So your thought process is let's not do what we've done in the past, and go back and forth from the goalkeeper.
Right.
And you just want to. Do you want to just stick with Romero for the rest of the year? Look. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I do, because we've been back and forth for a long time with goalies, from Miller to Vermeer, and then Sensiega got put in that rotation. So it's always up and down, and then next thing you know, their confidence isn't there. This is something we talk about on our show all the time. It hurts a goalkeeper to not have that reassurance from the coach. All right, this is your position. You get out there and demand what you want from your defense. And the reality of it is that was a poor play by him, okay? But even on the game that we got swept with, I know we're not talking about that right now, but the reality of it is, after that first goal, you see him look like it's hard for him to trust the back line, because our back line has been poor. And, it's just one of them things where our back line needs to do a better job at helping him out too. And that's been something that he hadn't had. He hasn't had the back line to really step up and be there for him. He's making a lot more saves or a lot more shots at him than most goalies have in a game at them. Yeah. No, I mean, I appreciate you breaking that down. I know Bob has gone back and forth, so I'm interested to see what happens. Blake, I know you had mentioned that, you mentioned things about Romero and, how he looked, because I felt the same way after this game, because it didn't just happen one time. There was another time, and I think the San Jose defender he had an opportunity to score again. but he didn't look as confident. What were your thoughts on Romero?
I mean, I think Hawaii, I think you made an amazing point about confidence, especially with such a young goalkeeper. You know, benching him at this time would just, I think, it would just really, really hurt him. I mean, he could go back to the lights, although I think they've found their guy. So I'm definitely, I mean, it was an interesting. I was just rewatching it. I wasn't ignoring. I was just rewatching the clip in slow motion on my phone, and he commits to it a bit, but then he sees the defender coming, and he kind of I think he's a bit unsure of what to do in that, because he's going for the ball that's curling in, which even then on a front post from that scenario, I don't think they necessarily expected that. I think it looked like they were at least more lining up for something going in, or they were trying to run with him, but I think the defender lost his guy or got beat by him, and then Romero kind of went for it, but then he saw the kick coming in. He wasn't totally sure, so he kind of went one way, ball went the other way.
And the guy did get a toe on it, right?
I believe right. He did.
He got a cleat. He got like a little cleat on it. That's.
I mean, even if
but it still moves it though, right? It still moves the ball some, right?
I mean, even if he didn't get a touch, that just still throws off. Like, I'm a goalkeeper when I play, so if I'm doing blocks and I got a player coming in, it looks like he's going to hit the ball, I might move towards that way, and if he doesn't touch it, it just goes somewhere else, because at the ball from that close, you're kind of already both things are possibilities, but at that time of the touch, you kind of got to go one way or the other. And I don't remember, but it's just one of those plays.
Let me ask you, because you cover the team probably as best as anybody. Obviously, two bad starts to Hawaii's two bad games, right? It's two bad games, and I get the point. But do you feel comfortable if Romero goes out there? Was it against Atlanta? I don't know if it's Saturday or Sunday, but do you feel comfortable with Romero, or are you leaning more towards Cisniega?
I most definitely feel comfortable with Romero. I really, really like how he's been playing. Besides those couple mishaps, I think he's shown a lot of confidence in times in certain games. So I think, I mean, you mentioned this, especially if he's coming off a poor game, two relatively not his best games, and coach just you're back on the bench. I even lose confidence in training, as if can't really get that back, starts just downgrading as a player. That could really hurt him. And I do wonder, though, because we haven't really heard, I'm not sure, no one else gets to hear this, but how Cisniega is currently, because I watched the players come out for training. I've constantly seen him come out first, as if he kind of has a point to prove in pregame warmups. So I do wonder if LAFC eventually goes back to Cisniega, which I will assume will happen, even just for a game like a U.S. Open Cup game. I know those are coming back next year. How he will be prepared for that after not playing for a certain amount of time.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing is the back and forth. I don't know if fans want that, but Cisniegas could be a better option or could not. So I think that is the unknown. JP, how are you feeling about Romero after this game?
I mean, I'm still on the Romero train. I'm still backing him. If ultimately he keeps this bad streak of games, then you obviously have to pull him because he's young, and then it will just end up destroying him mentally. So pulling him out wouldn't really be that bad. You give him 2 or 3 games to recalibrate and refocus, and then you can introduce him back in. But for now, I mean, I'm fine with him. He's vocal. He knows how to play with his feet. Ultimately, that first goal is on him. If he adds Vela into the wall, the goal doesn't happen. If he has somebody at first post, the goal doesn't happen. It's just little things. I mean, as a keeper, you can't really give up your first post. I mean, I guess that's the rule.
I don't think the first post is totally fair in that one, though, because it looked like they were all lining up with the ball on that one. So, I mean, if they were to go someone first post, that would just completely shifted that play.
But I mean, Romero doesn't Romero goes straight into the ball. If someone was at first post, he would dive, and then the first post would step in.
Well,
he was definitely playing more central. Yeah, he was diving, but he was definitely playing more central. And I get what you're saying, but the play, I mean, we can play a clip back, but all the guys I think they were lined up with the ball, trying to run with their man.
Box, there's no one up top at midfield.
Espinoza going near post. Oh, there it is! Goal!
And who is that player right there in front of Ramiro? That's LAFC. Who is that?
That's Brian, at the line. That's Brian Rodriguez. At the wall, the one player. That,
No, the one in the back. That sort of.
Box. There's no one up top at midfield.
Espinoza going near post. Oh, there it is. Goal. San Jose.
Well, I don't know if Nathan gets any part of it, but Crispin Espinoza does exactly what we ask him to do. He asks the netminder, can he make a save? Can he get behind it? He puts it in hard. Romero hesitates. And here we go. Espinoza sees that near post, and Romero just reacts, but I think Nathan just gets a toe to it. I'm not sure. We'll have to see who the statisticians give credit to, and it looks like he.
I don't think we're going to be able to see, but look, I don't want to. I don't know if it was Pancho Janela, but I don't want to get too into it on this because there's other things that I want to talk about. But I think for me, like, yeah, 2 bad games on Romero, and I think, you know, to your point, whether or not I think if he has another bad game like this, and I think all this is happening because of the mood and how the players are playing, and it's affecting not just the players on the field but also Romero. Obviously, the confidence is shot within the team. But I think if Romero has another bad game, but I would not be surprised if come Atlanta game, we see Pablo Cisnegas. I would not be surprised. But if Romero's back on the field, you know, and he has another bad game, I could see Bob and the coaching staff switching over to Pablo Cisnegas. Because if you have 3 bad games like this, and I mean, you have another option, you're definitely going to want to go back to it. But I've never been a fan of the back and forth. Of the back and
100%.
forth.
And you need your back line to step up some.
Yeah, well, I think back line. I think you need a lot of things.
You know, the back line. The back line is a lot of ball watching.
Yeah, we'll get into that. Look, perfect segment. Let's talk about Trophy's goal because that was cause of the back line.
And then come back. Let's take a look at Christian Espinoza cutting it back. Espinoza dropping for Trophy's. Oh, goal! San Jose! LAFC punished as the Earthquakes sent the wave. 2-0 San Jose.
Well, we talked about the grit, the determination with LAFC's big front 2. The San Jose Earthquakes also have a guy, Christian Espinoza, who cuts back deftly against Blackman, lays it right in.
I can't hear you. No. All right.
Go ahead,
no.
JP.
No. But I mean, I'll take over. But you know, as a defender, you just can't head her back like that, and give it away. If you're gonna clear it, or if you're gonna give it to the defender, give it to the defender. You just can't leave it in no man's land, especially with such fast wingers that San Jose have. So yeah, that's my take. Obviously, Christian I think takes it, and then Blackman just gives himself up. And it's just a nasty. You
can tell how unorganized they were for that one.
It was just so unorganized.
It was a giveaway, and they just didn't know what to do. They just tried to scramble, and obviously didn't work.
What was Blackman doing, bro? That was.
He didn't have to slide. He just ultimately.
I think he was just trying to force it. I think I don't think he wanted the ball. I mean, obviously, he didn't want the ball to get across. But I think there was because when you watch the ball get played across, there's just. I think there were 2 guys running, and there were 2 defenders, and like 4 San Jose guys, or 3 run across. So I think
am I back?
Like the last.
You guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like
technical difficulties.
It's all good.
But yeah, no, I think on that play, I know I heard you guys talk about it a little bit, but Cheeky Palacios, you can't let that happen. You know.
No, Cheeky and Blackman. I mean, honestly, it was just a weird play. You know, it was Blackman comes off his feet for no reason. Cheeky, I don't know, he's ball wild. I don't know what he's doing. So the whole thing was just lazy.
San Jose knew that, and they took advantage of it.
Yeah, and I think also it's like one of the things about that seeing that play is like, you know, it's like you go down 2-0 in the 27th minute, right? And then you're like, dang, I was watching the game. Obviously I was covering another game, but watching that game, I was like, dang, 2-0. And obviously I wasn't paying, I wasn't able to pay attention. I rewatched the game, and they had opportunities in the first half. They had a lot of opportunities. And I want to talk about Brian Rodriguez, because Brian Rodriguez looked good the first half. He only played 45 minutes. Hawaii, are you surprised that Brian Rodriguez didn't come out? Obviously, I know Diego Rossi ended up getting got subbed in for him at the 45-minute, but are you surprised he didn't play more minutes?
Yeah and no. I mean, I'm not, because he hadn't had a lot of games, right? So they're trying to save his legs or whatever. It was good to see him try back and try to, play that a little bit of defense, which was really good to see. I think the thing with Brian is always his finishing up top. He always tries to be a little too cute, and I think that's sort of something that hinders him a little bit. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, I guess he was one that had one of the better games out of the game that we were having. I really, personally, for myself, I don't think any of the guys showed up. I think it was a bad game for all of them. So I wasn't impressed with anyone, if I can just be completely honest.
No, that's totally fair. I think, out of all the games that I've seen so far, this probably has been the best game. Roger, he only played a half. It was 45 minutes, but I think he had about 2 opportunities there. Like, what are your thoughts on Rodriguez so far in this game?
I would just love if I could get all the LAFC stats that the coaches have. They don't share with us, but obvious reasons we can't, which probably say why he was subbed off halfway. I'm assuming it's either, he hasn't played a lot, as you mentioned, or just they wanted to bring on Rossi to see, even though I would expect possibly different sub for that. But I would assume it was Brian hasn't played a crazy amount during this year, and his time with Almeria, that was a bit on and off. Same with the Argentine national team. So, I mean, I'd assume the time would just keep building up, especially after the good performance in comparison to everyone else today.
Yeah, JP, what are your thoughts on Brian Rodriguez only playing 45 minutes?
If you really want to assess B-Rod, you have to give him at least 80 or the full game. You can't give him these what I call baby minutes. His attitude has been great. This whole novella, this whole story of is he going to come? What's the attitude going to be? Is he going to be fighting with Bob since day one? It hasn't been there. At least we haven't seen it. There was that little Peñarol scandal, but that's it. He's come. He's had a good attitude. He's wanted the ball. He's more or less been hungry. Maybe not 100% fit, but there were 2 instances. One against SKC where Moon didn't pass him the ball, but he was clear and he would have had a nice takeaway down the line. And then there was one with Vela that Vela didn't pass him the ball. So he always is in the right place at the right time. He's always had his options. So you can't limit him with minutes. He's been training for 2 or 3 weeks now. Atlanta, if you're going to start him, give him the full game or give him 85, 75 minutes where you can truly see, is he dangerous? What can he do for the team? How is he going to be the best off the bench, or is he going to be great from the start? So I'm happy with B-Rod. I mean, I'm not ecstatic, but I'm content with his attitude and on the field and off the field since his comeback.
Yeah, and he's also DP too. So like, if LAFC are trying to sell him, obviously there's a lot of things going on. LAFC is trying to win. The Brian Rodriguez probably situation trying to sell him is probably last on the list. But yeah, I mean, I think he looked good for me in the first 45 minutes. But I think you need to at least see a lot of, especially with Rossi dealing with whatever he's doing. I know Bob Bradley said lack of confidence and everything like that. I think this would have been an opportunity for Brian Rodriguez to play maybe 65, 70 minutes, and then you bring in Rossi for like the last 20 or whatever. Because Rossi has, let's be honest, he has not had a great season so far. He's really struggled. I know we talked about it a little bit about earlier. Hawaii, let's talk about Christian Arango. Obviously, the newest signing, first came in. Let's go more in depth. I think he played about 65 minutes, if I'm right. But like, what were your thoughts, impressions of him so far? What do you like? Is there anything you don't like?
Okay, so I'm going to piggyback off of what JP said earlier. we brought him in for a 9. I wanted to see him stay in the 9 position. That's something that I think that we just need to let happen. And then talked about this also the other day. I guess if there's one thing, look, I know this is a team sport, but he needed to be a little bit more selfish and take the shots, right? I think there was 3 times that he was within striking range that he passed instead of took the shot. Like, you're a 9. This is what your job is. Shoot the ball. Put in the back of the net. I mean, look, I get it. It's unselfish. He's trying to help his teammates out, trying to make a good impression on them and say, hey, I'm an unselfish guy. This is who I am. However, we need you to be selfish. We need you to play as a 9, and we need goals. You know, I mean, we need a game that is more than 2 goals, man. Like, we need some goals bad. And I feel like he had some opportunities, and I would have liked to seen them opportunities.
Yeah, no, I think, look, it's one game, but I think you can see glimpses of what he could potentially do.
Oh, yeah,
Blake,
definitely.
What were your thoughts on Chicho?
I was going over the stats. He played 68 minutes, and for a 9, he only had 3 shots, none of which were on target, which that's not how it should be. So you did mention he had plenty of chance where he wasn't playing NHL, he was passing the ball off, and nothing really came of that. So I would like to see him take more shots, because the shots he had, I mean, some of that power on it. He did kind of like a Vela curler, which sailed over, but would have been hilarious and amazing. But I just want to see a bit more of him take more chances, just try to put something on net, at least test the keeper, because we didn't really do that much. And you mentioned we haven't scored more than 2 goals all season. We're 18 games in, and we haven't scored more than 2 goals in a game all season. That's just the stat that stands out for ourselves. We need to be taking more chances. The chances we have, we need to be not skying them or shooting them directly at the keeper.
Yeah, no, and look, with the team with so much firepower, to only be able to score not more than 2 goals is surprising, because this is one of the biggest assets. This is one of the teams that
And there was like the chances created stats compared to the actual what ended up happening, and the numbers are just unreal how different they are, and that's not how it should be.
JP, quick thoughts on Chicho.
Yeah, like I said at the beginning, if the team needs a number 9 and you bring him in as the striker, is that like the way you sell him? You can't have him on the wing. I understand he looked good. It was great. It was glimpses of what we needed, making the attack look more fluid. He gave Vela a really good pass. It's not like he looked lost or confused or out of place. But if he's the number 9 that was promised, you got to have him stay at the number 9 most of the game. He was glancing off on the wing, which he did good, but Vela and Rossi can be there. Rodriguez can be there. Opoku, when he comes back, is going to be there. I want him to stay a bit more central. When Bradley Wright-Phillips, when Dio was there, and Vela and Rossi thrived, it's because they stay central. So I ultimately want Arango to stay a bit more central, score goals, have the team score goals, then put him out on the wing. Because that's, I think, what's going to ultimately help the team more. Get 3 goals as a team, and then mix up the positions. I mean, he had one clear chance, and he decided to pass it. If you're going to be the team's goal scorer, I mean, maybe that's too much pressure we're putting on him since the beginning. But at least blast it. I would have rather you missed it, or the goalie gets a save. But if you just kind of passed it there, it's kind of like not what we were expecting. But yeah, I mean, it was a good game from him. Nobody can complain. He got the start, so obviously he's backed by the coaches and the team. But just maybe a goal and it's a bit more central what I asked for.
Fair enough. I want to get into Katie's comment. She said, all of our team, even Vela, is suffering from lack of confidence. Some of our players are 1 foot out the door, wanting to go, so we have various mental block-ups. I think this is a great setback, look, because of why we're here to talk about this, right? Some people are bob in, some people are bob out. Look, if you guys in the chat, I just want to know, people in the chat, whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, if you feel comfortable, comment bob in or bob out, wherever you're tuning in or listening, just comment below.
You're opening that up, boy.
This is gonna get messy. You should not.
No. It's not gonna get messy because these are fans. These are fans of LAFC, and this is why they're tuning in.
Yeah.
And I think because
it's a cool conversation.
It's a good conversation. Look,
Yeah.
and everybody's is very vocal on Twitter. So I think them commenting on here it has not doesn't compare to some of the things that I've seen on Twitter. So if you guys want to comment that, but let's talk about it. Hawaii, obviously, you help run the spaces,
right?
And there's a lot of mixed feelings about Bob Bradley. How are you feeling about Bob Bradley? Because you're a supporter. You're a supporter all the way from Hawaii. You're very vocal. How are you feeling about Bob Bradley so far?
Okay, so I was at the beginning of the spaces. I was a hardcore Bob in We Trust guy. Everybody knows that about me. But listen, I'm a fan of football, right? And we've just got to be honest with ourselves. At the end of the day, I can give Chelsea for an example. Lampard is a legend at this club, and they cut him, brought in TT, and it turned the season around and made a club that was not good towards the bottom into a winner. And look, you got to look at what Bob has done this year, and it's nothing. Bob style football has not worked, to be honest, since 2019. These are facts. And, listen, I know we're going to hear, oh, COVID, this and this. Everybody's suffering from the same thing, man. No one had any better opportunities than LAFC. So it's one of these things where you have to start understanding and hearing what other people are saying about the Bob out and listen and then take into account, well, what has he done? He has Carlos Vela, he has Brian Rodriguez, he has Rossi. They haven't done anything this year. We have 3 DPs that have not showed us anything this year, right? They're like the writer just said, their confidence is so down. You see Rossi, one of the guys that's never shown to be upset or discouraged out there on the pitch. The last 2 games walking with his head down. That doesn't happen with him. You have
but I don't think that's because of Bob Bradley though. I think
no. I'm saying the play. I'm saying the play. We're talking about the play and what Bob has brought to the field, right? This is what we're talking about. He's a 4-3-3 coaches and try to all different formations because whatever he's doing is not working. These are facts, man.
I mean, that's a fair point, but I think the Rossi thing is more on Rossi. Like Rossi not having confidence, not playing.
I understand that, but Bob was giving him an earful the other day, and Rossi was going back. In my personal opinion, I think Bob has lost the locker room. That's what I think. I think he has lost the locker room, and that's hard for a person that has been all about Bob to now see what has happened this year. It's just
you've always been all about Bob, then.
Yeah.
Now,
ask JP.
Now he's off the train.
When did things switch for you?
When we just continually couldn't win, and we tried different formations. Things aren't happening. Personnel just, the guys just don't seem like they are buying into the system anymore. Playing Bob football has not worked, and we teams are figuring us out. And when teams figure you out and you can't change it up, and what's the excuse? Like, what is the excuse at this point?
Look, fair enough. I want to get Blake in here because I know Blake.
I know he's a huge Bob fan.
There's nothing like that. Look, and Juan says, I'm gonna burn sage at the bank and walk around the whole stadium. Maybe that could help. Blake,
I do want to add one thing though, right? If we lose one more game since inaugural season, will be our worst run ever. That this is a fact that our guy back sent me. This is the truth. If we lose one more game, it's the worst loss stretch that we've had since we started this.
Look, that's a fair point. Blake, what are your thoughts? Because they haven't won a game, won like 5 games. Obviously, there's a lot of commotion, but you're Bob in. And look, I don't think there's a wrong or right answer at this moment, but I think it's very important to hear from the supporters. What are your thoughts? And give us why you're Bob in.
I don't think the players. I mean, Rossi just this year, I don't know what is up with that. Atuesta just hasn't been the Atuesta he used to be. Same with, Vela this year. I've always been like on and off Vela. That's a whole other combo. But I don't. Bob is a great coach. It doesn't necessarily make him, not that he should. That doesn't necessarily make that we should keep him. But I do think that getting rid of him right now, it's not going to make anything better. I want to see what he can do. I recommend, and I posted about this because Twitter comments or something else on the post-game press conference. Everyone's losing it. Said, watch the press conference, hear what he has to say before, and I believe Info LAFC also backed me up on this. Watch what he has to say. Hear from Bob. I posted a couple clips of it and just what he's been talking about, which I think, he makes a lot of good points. I think he's not totally to blame for some of the players just not, as I mentioned, Rossi Atuesta just haven't been there. So I don't see how it'll improve if Bob gets fired halfway through the season. I want to see what he can do towards the end of the year. If he leaves at the end of the year, I won't be crazy surprised based on what has happened this year. But yeah, pretty possible. I would like to hear what everyone else has to say, though.
So for you right now, it just doesn't make sense because
it doesn't. We're in a playoff position right now. We're in a poor drought, but we have.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
No.
We're on the line. We're on the line with 2 points behind RSL. If we're talking about that, we're in the line with 2 points behind RSL. Our schedule is going to get harder and theirs gets easier. These next 2 games, if we don't get the 6 points, we will not make the playoffs.
I wouldn't say that, but it's
yeah.
hard.
Let me get JP in here. JP, what are your thoughts? Obviously, because
I'm in the middle. Because part of me wants.
He's currently in 7th. So
look at the standings, and this is what I told you on the weekend. If you look, we have 18 games played. Everybody above us and RSL right behind us have 17. So if playoffs were next week and RSL wins that game, look right there. So everybody has 17, and then we have 18, right? We have one more game played, right? So ultimately, at the end of the season, every team is going to have 34, whatever, however long. So right now, if RSL wins that game, they're over us, right? And then Portland and Minnesota are above us with one less game played, right? So we need to keep that in mind. If you look up, Rapids have 2 less games, right? Okay, my thing is, in every presser, Bob Bradley has great analysis of the game, right? People ask him, he analyzes the game, or he can give you a step-by-step of what went wrong in the goals. But at one point, are you going to have great assessment of the game, but not have a response when coaching your team? It's not been, 2 games where we've been playing bad. We've been playing bad this whole season, and he's had great answers in his pressers all season long. He's given us step-by-steps of what went wrong every game. But you can't, you have weeks and weeks of training, and you can't sort of fix it. And then who is that on? Is that on you, or is that on the players? Ultimately, he doesn't tell the players, go out there and lose this game. He doesn't say that. But what tactical adjustments is he failing to make? What decisions on the bench is he failing to make that ultimately leads us to lose games? SKC is on him. This last game wouldn't be on him. I wouldn't put it solely on him. But his subs have been, very questionable at times. He puts in the wrong formation at times. I feel like some of the players just don't believe in him. That's just my guess, or my analysis, which is you can take it however you want. But at some point, you need to look at Bob, the leader of the ship, and ask yourself, is he truly lost the locker room, or what is he not telling? How is he not connecting to this group anymore? Because
I don't think. Look, I know you guys have mentioned this, but I don't think he's lost the locker room because these guys.
I think it's divided. I think it's divided. Some players do follow him.
It can be divided. Look, any locker room is divided when you're losing, and it's more obvious. But I haven't seen this team quit. I haven't seen this team quit. Look, they're still fighting, and
Kansas, they quit.
I wouldn't say they quit. They got smacked around. It was just bad formation and the way Bob played that. But I haven't seen this team quit. They were even fighting against San Jose. But I also think, like, look, there's been a lot of things. I also would say the players haven't stepped up. I don't think Rossi. How are you Diego Rossi and lose confidence? I don't know how you lost confidence, because the team doesn't depend on you. The team essentially depends on Carlos Vela and all these different things. So I'm just confused.
Rossi this season has just been, I don't know what the heck is up with that, but something has to change with him, just because.
But it's not just Rossi, bro. It's Atuesta, it's Vela, it's Rossi. It's
How is that Bob?
every single
Bob's
one of
not
them.
the one on the field missing the chances from there.
No,
He's not
but
making
he's the
chances.
leader. He's the man. He's the leader. You have to bring these guys out. That's your job, bro. And for not, you're the one that's supposed to put someone in there that is the leader. Who is our leader on the pitch? Tell me that. Do we have a leader on the pitch?
I mean,
Not
that's a
at
great
all,
question.
bro.
LAFC
Not at
Cooley,
all.
who's from Motor Guy, said he didn't lose confidence. He lost motivation.
Motivation.
That's a different. That's a difference.
That's my boy. Thank you,
That's
bro.
a difference.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that to be true, but that makes a lot more sense. But Blake, what are your thoughts? Because I don't really see things changing right now, and I think there's a lot of things that are happening because Vela hasn't played to his potential. Eduardo Tuesta hasn't played to his potential, and I think Latif Blessing had an opportunity. I don't think you can put that on Bob. I think you could put the SKC game, and I think the tactical changes 100% on Bob. But
The SKC game was just.
But that's on Bob. If you start a different formation, I think it's a different. We can be talking about a different story, because you can't play 3 players out of position. You can't play with 2 mids against a second place team. I'm sorry, that's solely on Bob.
You know what else is on Bob is when
And
you are beating them, and then halftime when we're at their place and we are beating them, and then you make some crazy sub, and then we lose the game, and we go back to the 4-3-3 and we lose the game.
50-50. Some games are solely on Bob, and then some games are players just not finishing their chances, and you can't put that on Bob. But how many games has Bob Bradley lost us and put us in this situation? Not all of them, but some of them, Bob has lost his points and has put us at 7th place. Because the thing why we're so critical, I think, is because not just LAFC fans, MLS, I heard Extra Time before the season. I heard all these extra pundits. All of them had LAFC, winning the Community Shield, or Supporter Shield, and MLS Cup, or one or the other, And this is why we're so critical, because it's cup or bust. If this is LA,
but I think that's how it should be for this team with
I know, but
Eduardo
yeah,
it should be that
way. That's why. And then
it should be that way.
If your leader and the coach is costing you games, then you have to be critical of him in this situation.
Let me ask you, who do you see as a leader in the team? Because I think the guys do make somewhat of a point, because I understand Vela is the leader, but I think sometimes on the field the team is missing the leader. I don't. How do you see the game, or how do you see?
Honestly, right, with all the injuries we've had, and with all the little things we've had, like an on and off with leader depending on games. I think at times been like, Vela, what the hell are you doing? Or what's this? What type? Sometimes other. But when Vela turns on, becomes the leader and just has these great chances. I think just for the little things that just the players turn on, we see these different leaders pop out. Currently, I mean, some games just been a mess. There's no real direction that they're going with that we saw back in 2019, 2018, even the start of 2020, I think. But it's just the little things. I think Vela should be the leader because he is, he has the armband. He should be the one leading the team. And at times, he just has not been the Vela that we saw back in 2019 that we should be seeing.
Yeah, no, look, this leads into a great comment. Look, 2 comments. Antonio says it's not about Bob in or Bob out. It's about the team that needs to finish. And I feel that we're in a league that limits. We can't just bring in anyone when we play. We play with what we have. Fair enough. Freddie Dominguez says I also feel that the fact that LAFC can't win is causing Vela to put pressure on himself to try to carry the team, taking extra touches on the ball, taking shots prematurely, hurting the team overall. I feel like that's pretty fair.
Yeah, there have been some things I've seen Vela just, kind of holds the ball and takes shot because either he doesn't see anything or he, wants to take a shot there, which I've been critical of. But then, as I mentioned, when Vela turns on, you can't really say anything bad about him just because how good of a player he is when he is playing at what he can play at.
Yeah. Have you seen that Vela this year?
What was that?
Have you seen that Vela this year?
I have seen that Vela this year.
Yeah.
I believe it was the.
How many games? How many games?
Multiple games I've seen.
How many?
He had 4 or 5 game goal streak. If he doesn't score those goals, we don't even tie those games, Hawaii. I understand.
Yeah, no, I understand, bro. I understand. But
if you want him to score hat tricks. We all want him to score hat tricks. But ultimately, I'm a Vela defender. I'll defend him, even because since he's the best player in this, not only in this team, he's the best player in this league when at his best. You always want, if he scores one goal, you're gonna want him to score two. If he gives one assist, you're gonna want him to give 2 assists. You're always gonna want more from him. No. I'm not saying you, but in general, if he didn't score any of those goals last 5 games, we're not even in playoff spots anymore. Now,
I completely agree. I agree.
I understand you want
a golden boot. We're talking about someone that has. He's supposed to be the best in the league, bro.
He speaks on the field, though. I think he speaks on the field. He doesn't need to be screaming and shouting.
What I will say, I think to Hawaii's point, you
gotta have a leader.
I know they are missing that leader. Like, and I don't know how the conversations are.
Like, armband or not, you gotta have someone that holds someone accountable. Like, dude,
there's multiple people who we can hold accountable right now, and that's the big thing in this.
Can't just be pointing fingers at single people right now. Can't just be pointing the finger at Bob right now. We have to look around and see what's happening, especially with the added things that are coming in with injuries. Like, I thought the defense when we had Segura, Murillo, I thought that was real good. Yeah. First time we've really seen a strong leading defense for LAFC. Now we have Segura out for the year. I want to see how Vega comes in. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. How he comes in, how he works with the defense, because I think that could become a real leader partner, kind of like how Simon was back in early 2018.
Yeah, look, Freddie brings up another point. Vela is an amazing player, but I don't see him as a leader. I'm sorry. When people say he's a leader by example, isn't going to cut it. They need someone vocal out to remind players to keep pushing for them. And I think Bob can do that, but I think you don't need that from Bob. You need a player to be vocal, because look, we know Bob can be vocal. We understand that, but I don't know who's being the vocal leader in the locker room, because I just don't see that from Vela. And I think that's one of those things that may be hurting LAFC, to keep guys accountable. Because I haven't heard every press call, or I can't remember every press call. And I try to listen to all of them, obviously, even when I'm covering the other team in town. But I think accountability, whether outside of Bob, the players like, no, this game was on me. This game was on us. You know what I'm saying? And players coming up, because I think that would relieve some of the pressure, some of the fans. But we don't hear that necessarily from the players, and being like, hey, this was on us, or I think we've heard it from Romero or whatever, just different things. But I think we're looking from someone else, right? Someone of Carlos Vela, a statue, and when Diego Rossi's not doing good, so it's like, I think right now is like, who is the leader on the team? And I think we know Vela is, but I think who is the vocal leader is a fair point.
I mean, look, I'm a Vela fan. I'm just saying he hasn't showed up. That's all. I mean, look, I
agree with you at times.
I've always liked Vela, but I'm just saying the truth is because he has 4 games consistent where he scores goals, great. Rossi's supposed to do the same thing. But the reality of it is our DPs have not came and showed up this year. You look around the league, you see other DPs doing stuff. Alt-West hadn't showed up. And at some point, with all these guys not showing up, I understand Bob can't make him kick it in. But he's the man that has to figure out how to get the performance out of the team. That's all I'm trying to say. That's the truth. That's his job. That's what
Bob can only do so much, though, in that scenario, I think, as a coach. You're on the sidelines. You need someone actually on the field. I think you brought up a good point. The vocal leader, and as I mentioned, defense. But there's, we need to have someone who's in there pushing. I think there are plenty of possibilities of who it could be, and we obviously don't know. We don't get that type of access because, we can't. But I think there are plenty of possibilities who I'd love to know who is, to hear that type of stuff, because that would
nobody, because nothing has changed.
Ever since Zimmerman left, Beta Shore, these were the real leaders. Think about it.
Zimmerman, look. We don't have to go. We don't have to open that can of worms.
Problem, though. It's a this season problem.
We don't have to go back to the can of worms of Zimmerman. I understand that.
No, I'm not saying Zimmerman. I'm saying Beta Shore, Phil Harbor. I'm talking about real leaders, guys that would get in people's face and hold them accountable.
But I think I don't know if they would get on their face, but I think that the veteran
Yeah,
leadership.
they had experience.
I think the veteran leadership. I think that's what this team is missing. Maybe.
So I think Ibega could be a leader.
You need to play him though. You need to play him.
Well, he just signed.
I know. But Arango.
Did you say Arango?
No, the center back, the new center back. That's what I'm saying. But I mean, Bob needs to play him if he wants to, make him a leader. That's all.
I expect this just a prediction. I think he's going to get minutes against that.
I know he should. I think he should start with Fall maybe, because if Murillo's still not 100%, Fall has deserved a start with how he's playing. Him and Sebas. But we don't have a leader, and I mean it's too early. But I mean Arango led the Colombian team. Millonarios is not an easy team to lead, and he was the leader. Ultimately, this is a new league, and he just got his first game, and it's going to take him a while to lead. But maybe in the next season or in 2 seasons, Arango can be that guy that talks, and is the voice. Maybe that's my wishful thinking, and that's too early to tell. And we need a solution now
because this is Venezuela's team, so it's like
and we
you're
need
not going to come in here, and I don't think Arango's going to come in here and want to step on those toes, because I think he's understanding what situation LAFC is in. You know what I'm saying? And it's look, even Latif Blessing after the game, he said that the mood within the locker room, I'm just paraphrasing here, but it was sad, right? Like, you haven't won in 5 games. But I also think there's another side to this. This is the first time LAFC has gone through this. And, I think the biggest stat that they haven't scored more than two goals is pretty big. But the other thing, too, it's like when LAFC started so high, right, everybody expected all these goals and stuff. And now when that's not happening, it's not looking good for LAFC and all these different things. But I also feel like, look, I think this is a really big month for LAFC because of what you have, right? You have all these road games because the next one is against Atlanta, and then the game after that, what is it? Vancouver. And then you have the All-Star game that Wednesday before El Tráfico, and then you got LA Galaxy at home. Right, so you got 3 games to kind of turn things around. Two away games. Atlanta game could be a toss-up depending how it is. Vancouver game is definitely winnable, even though they tied with the Galaxy. The Galaxy game, that's gonna be a tough one. You know what I'm saying? And
that's the turning point. That's the turning point for me. If that's ultimately what I give Bob. That's when I'll.
What do you mean by that? If he doesn't win against Galaxy,
ultimately it comes down to the eye test, for me, because
you trust your eyes with the stats.
I'm still in the middle. of Bob in and Bob out, right? Because there's nobody we can bring right now. Since if we fire Bob, because the MLS is unique, and the way you win it is you need somebody that knows the league, right? So if we sack Bob and bring someone internationally, I don't think that's the best move, because I don't know anybody right now that knows the league that we can bring in to take us to the top, right?
Bob out people on Twitter, YouTube.
Hawaii, get in this.
Who would we bring in though? I
want to hear from Hawaii. Who would you bring in? Because I think that is a question.
Y'all want to know who I bring in?
We need to hear.
I can say it for him.
Go ahead, JP.
No. Let the man.
No, let JP.
I want to hear him say it. I want to hear him
speak because JP, say who I want.
No, because I don't know who it is.
I do. That's why.
Just let him say it.
Given the peer pressure.
Go Hawaii.
No, listen. This is what I think. I think we need to go big on the coach, right? I think we need like a Portuguese or an Italian. This is what I think.
Oh, here we go.
And I know of a coach that wants to be in the MLS. He's already out there.
Have you spoken with them?
No. I watched his interview.
Connections. You got them.
No. I watched his interview. He literally says, I want to go to the States. He wants to bring his family here. He likes what MLS is doing. He just left Inter. He did really well there. He was the coach for Juve. He's been a Chelsea coach. This dude is a winner. We all know who I'm talking about. I don't have to say his name. But he
That
wants
don't sound like Zidane's resume. I'm sorry, that doesn't.
no,
sound like...
not Zidane. No.
That's what I expected him to say.
No. He's a real dude. He's a winner. But that's what I want. But listen, is that probably what's going to happen? No, I think
So
we're going to get.
Can you say that for people who don't know who you're referring to?
Oh, Conte.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, JP?
That may be a stretch. Look, let's be honest. That may be a stretch.
No, but he wants to be here.
Yeah,
and whoever does get him as a MLS team, they're going to kill because the dude is a winner.
All right, so
that's the truth.
Let me. Okay, look, fair enough. Is there as you as a supporter, is there anything Bob can do to flip you?
Win El Tráfico.
No, listen, man.
Are you complete Bob out? There's nothing.
No. If we go to the playoffs and we do well, Bob's going to stay. I don't see JT getting rid of him. No, it's the truth. I don't see him getting rid of him. If we do lose these games to Carson, I think it's even going to be a hotter seat than what's already happened. If we lose this game coming up, where it's going to be the 6 games, the longest that we've had, I think the hot seat starts. We lose against Carson, I think it's like burning. And I think then JT starts getting looked at also. And that's something that he don't want. Because if we completely miss the playoffs, there's going to be questions of should they both go or who's going to go. And that's just the reality of the situation. This is a win, or we're going to start redoing the roster and the coaching staff.
I think we're already redoing, not necessarily
maybe redoing the front office. And then these are facts. Because
I think we're already redoing the roster. I think Rossi is going to.
Yeah, but bro, we brought in 2 people. We brought in 2 people just because we brought in Arango and again a center back at the last minute. Like that really ain't redoing it. Like that isn't enough. It's not enough. Let's just be honest here. It's not enough. You see the results. You had Arango out there and nothing happened. Like it isn't enough of a.
Well, look, Arango first game.
Well, no.
I'm barely been here. I don't think that's a fair comparison.
No, I just said we haven't had enough of it yet, but we need him to show up and be a 9, right? We need him to show up and and be a little selfish. That's what we need because we need goals. And right now it's just not cutting it. That's the truth.
Let me ask Blake. Blake, I'm gonna ask you the same question, but a different way. Is there anything this season that you would flip to Bob out?
Honestly, it's a good question. I think there has to be. I mean, I'm not going to stay Bob in forever just because I think he's a great coach, and just even if results aren't coming, I think, honestly, I think I'll just tell with performances and see what happens. I think, as you guys have mentioned, the next stretch of games before and then the one after the All-Star break is, I think, is the most important of the season to be a turning point. I think Atlanta's result is possible even a draw. I'd take that against Atlanta as a team who's kind of struggled this year as well, but they're kind of hitting their high point right now. I think they beat Columbus 3-2, and then Vancouver 2-2 draw against them. I think we can. I mean, they're going to be back home, I think, in the game, but I think there's definitely we can get a draw or even a win against Vancouver, and then All-Star break, and then Galaxy. I think I'll have to wait and see what happens there because I'm not going to say these certain marks will be hit. Mm-hmm. Just sees what happens. See how Arango and Ideka fit in.
You don't have to put like a deadline or anything like that. I was just curious if there's anything. The same thing I asked Hawaii that you would flip to Bob out because I do think it's a premature conversation a little bit, but it's Twitter's talking about it. We got to talk about it. But
Bob hadn't won the Cup since 2007 either. Let's just be honest.
That was international.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. Let Blake finish. If there's not, that's totally fine.
No, I think it's just a wait and see what happens.
Wait and see. Yeah. So JP, you said if they lose, if LAFC lose to,
I'll give him. That's 3 weeks. That's 3 weeks, or 3 weekends that I give Bob Bradley because ultimately, like I said, some games have been solely on Bob, and some games have been solely, being unlucky and players not being able to finish. And we can't put it all on Bob, but I mean, if we sack Bob tomorrow, I'm not mad. I'm not upset. I'm
really?
not. I'm not like.
Where do we go from there though?
But
exactly. No, that's
I know,
a great question.
but
I'm
but
with you, JP.
if we stay with Bob, it's going to be more of the same, and it's been more or less a down. We've been going downhill. We haven't been going up. After that 3-game win streak, it's all been going downhill. So if we sack him and get like an interim manager, there could be we could stay. You could stay on at 7th, or we can either go up and the team. The players rally behind this new coach, give this guy a chance, whoever it may be, and then JT really shows us that he's all in to win it. That's why I'm giving him 3 weeks at the end of this month. I'm giving Bob Bradley at the end of this month to fully say, I don't think we're going to do it with Bob, and at the end of the season he should go out. Because look, El Tráfico, Clásicos, derbies, whatever you want to call it, in any league and every league have been changing, turning points for teams. Barca, Real, whoever wins, whoever loses, turning points. We haven't had good results. I ultimately think we shouldn't lose these next 2 games. We shouldn't if we really want to have a chance to win El Tráfico. We go to Atlanta, who has an interim coach and have looked better since they fired Heinze. And Atlanta has all these stars too. They fired Heinze, and they've looked better with this new.
Heinz is a completely different scenario, though.
But it's still
look
a manager.
Into what's been happening there.
It's still a manager that they hyped up. It's still a manager that the front office gave all the green light to. So Bob has been here for 4 years. This is the senior class. This is make it or break it. He's developed these players for 4 years, and if he can't win this in this 4th year, in his senior year, then I think it's time to say thank you, Bob, and we're out.
That's a whole different conversation. But
I know, because we're talking about Bob in or Bob out.
But I'm talking about right now, because a lot of people are talking about right now.
If he beats the Galaxy, then the players will buy into it. Why? Because the Galaxy is 3rd place. This is the first game where we are not the favorites to beat Carson. Every other time we've been on top. Carson has been, in the misery, with trash bags over their head. They knew they weren't favorites, even with Zlatan. We beat them in playoff once. We have the upper hand, regardless if all time they have more. We've won the big games. We won 6-2. We have the biggest margin, and we won in playoffs. But if they can't rally behind Bob to win this big El Tráfico game, then I just think it's there's just no saving it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm being very pessimistic and very radical, but I give him that big game against Galaxy at home, where we're not favorites. That's a real energy booster for this team, and that's when we can go.
Look, those games, El Tráfico games, could change the season.
That's why.
It could definitely change the season, and those are unpredictable, and you never know what can happen with those games. So that could definitely turn the things around. But
Chicho's going to have 3 weeks already. Brian should be way more into the team and have way more training. He should be fully fit. The new center back and Fall are going to have more games to set themselves in the team. Murillo should be healthy. There's no excuses anymore, I think, for Bob, unless somebody tears their ACL or whatever. Then you can say, oh, we're missing a piece. But right now, if everything stays the way, 3 weeks, Bob needs to win El Tráfico, and we can go up from there. But yeah,
look, El Tráfico is for a must-win for either side, but especially once you're at home. And I think it's pretty clear to me that obviously Bob's in the hot seat. We're having this conversation, and look what he's done in the past. I know he's been a great coach with the U.S. men's national team, with the MLS. But look, right now I think the season has been disappointing with what he's had. With the 4 within his 4th year. But I don't see the team right now letting go of Bob, because they're right now they're in playoff contention. And then another thing I was going to say, Carlos Vela has a lot of say in this. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, Carlos Vela, I don't think is necessarily Bob out or anything like that, because I think we would have saw that. Look, I think Carlos Vela, if Carlos Vela doesn't want Bob, I think he'd already be out. And obviously, I feel like a lot of these losses are one on the players, tactically on Bob Bradley, and they've also been unlucky on a lot of different things. But that doesn't excuse them not being able to perform what they've been able to do. But I'm very curious how Carlos Vela handles the situation, because I feel like the only player or person that could do that to Bob, to essentially move on for Bob, would be Carlos Vela. And obviously we're not going to hear from that. Carlos Vela is a very private person. But I feel like if you have another game like what happened with SKC, or if that happens, or obviously the Carson game, then things could change.
Imagine that game happens against Carson.
Oh,
right.
Yeah, like we don't.
And I'm just saying, man, like that's, JP's right. If that happens, the fan base is going to turn on Bob so quick. It's going to be crazy.
You can't lose
Twitter world. It's going to be all of them. It ain't just Twitter. You look all around. People are not happy with what's going on, and that's just the truth.
People aren't. That's true, but it's not all on Bob. And I don't think I think a good part of the LAFC fan base isn't.
It's
Bob.
divided.
I would disagree.
I think it's more Bob and people. I think a lot of it's just
I would
what
disagree
makes the
with you,
headlines.
bro. I would disagree. I've been on your side for a long time. I would just have to disagree. But I appreciate how dedicated you are to him. I'm not quite sure why you haven't gave it to him.
He's not on the payroll.
Oh, God.
He's not on the payroll.
Yeah, it's sort of feeling like a press conference right now. I'm not gonna lie. Hey,
I will say, I do know that there's a lot more. There is Bob in people, and we just don't see him on Twitter. You just don't see him.
That's my point.
You just don't see him on Twitter, or Facebook or Instagram.
Oh, you see him on Twitter. You'll see him come in and say,
"Oh,
whatever," but then you'll ask him for a reason of why he should stay.
Well, look,
I can give you that.
Same thing with the Bob Up people. You ask for what'll happen then.
I just gave you a ton of reasons why, buddy, and I've been on your side.
Well, look, let me get in here. What I will say, if there was that, I don't think there's that many. There's a lot of Bob in people, because I don't think people would drive to San Jose. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that many people. How many people drive to San Jose? And I think they're also planning a trip to Atlanta if they didn't believe in the team and the coach, right? Because if you don't believe in the coach or whatever, you're not gonna want to buy your ticket or make plans to go see your team, right? I understand.
I disagree with that.
I disagree with that. Hey, man, we agree, bro. I disagree.
Look, I got you guys to agree.
We're here for the color and the badge, bro.
Yeah, I think it's just LAFC, not Bob.
Look, but I think it's different when you spend your money to go out and travel. I think it's different when you spend money on a hotel and all those different things and factors like that. That's different than when you actually go to the stadium.
You're talking about the San Jose that's very close to go by. You're not talking about traveling all the way to New York and spending.
Well, people are going to Atlanta. I know people are going to Atlanta.
Atlanta.
People are spending a lot of
Atlanta's been planned for a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not just an immediate, look at us, we're bad now. No one's going to go to it. That's been planned for a while. And I also think a lot of the culture that's been built with LAFC isn't totally.
JRS, I stand corrected. He's like,
exactly.
I'm Bob out, and I flew to San Jose. We can support the club without supporting the club. Okay. Well, look.
I
thank you for proving me wrong.
Is
Justin.
No matter what happens, we're going to be there to support the team, no matter what happens, no matter the mess that's happening. Exactly. It's not a culture of. It's not a band. I don't think. It's at least anymore after what's happening, which this is the plus side of all this. Tickets are a lot cheaper. And I think a lot of the bandwagon culture is kind of, at least at the part of it that was the bandwagon, has really died down. Now we see the people who are still traveling for the team, still supporting, which I love to see. And I think now that there's this real culture being built, that's not, kind of like we support no matter what. I think that's now we really get to see those diehard supporters.
Amen. I agree with you on that.
Boom! Look at that.
Look at you.
Look at this.
You guys just became best friends.
Agreement between
you guys just became best friends. Look.
No, not best friends.
It took me to say something. It took me to say
have some real deep conversations. You're more than welcome to come.
Hey, look. It took me to say something dumb, and everybody in the comments are lighting me up as they should.
No, because listen, this is the truth. I'm here in Hawaii. I traveled. I told you I would pull over and support this club, right? No matter what, making sure I have Wi-Fi, because I'm here for the badge, bro. I'm here for LAFC, no matter how bad we are. This is a poor year. Yeah, it was great in 2018 and 19 that we got to watch a winning team, one of the best teams in 2019. But regardless if Bob's bad, if the team's bad, I'm going to support it no matter what, because this is my club. And when they do good, we'll talk about how bad they were and how great we are now. You know what I mean? Facts.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I like that. I guess let's finish this off with final thoughts, because look, this is the first time LAFC's ever experienced with something like this. And look, Blake hit the nail on the head. There's been a lot of bandwagon fans, and there's also been just with any team, not just LAFC, but there's also been.
Look at PSG right now.
Oh yeah, bro.
Look at this guy right now.
Look, come on. Who you talking about?
You bought it before.
Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
Look,
you bought it before he was there. It doesn't count.
I bought it in March, so look,
yeah,
it was the perfect time. But look, I'm like I said earlier, I'm walking around LA, proud PSG fan since day
from the start.
Uno, all right.
That's right.
But no, look, these are the conversations with passionate fans on this show's about, right? To have these type of discussions, because look, obviously, when a team's underperforming, you know, this team they could potentially switch around. It doesn't look likely, but this team should be top 4, maybe.
I think they totally
top
can.
3, you know. But like right now, it doesn't look that way. And right, this team has aspirations to win a championship. But it's difficult when you're in 7th place, and obviously you haven't won a game in 5 games. And I think these conversations need to be had on both sides. You know, whether you support or don't support the coach. And you know, I just want to give you guys final thoughts. Hawaii, final thoughts.
Final thoughts is that look, I hope that we do get to the playoffs and make a run, almost like a Sounders did, and win it all. That's my final thought. It would be great. And if not, if we don't make the playoffs, then things have to change, you know. And that's just how it is, man. It's harsh reality of the game, but it's coaches and players will always come and go. But the team stays the same, right? Like we're always going to support LAFC, and that's our club. So it is what it is. We got to let people come and go and move on and try to better the team.
Blake, final thoughts.
I think it was Alicia Rodriguez who tweeted this. There's a building being built at the view that you see downtown from Bank California Stadium, it's like kind of covering up a bit of it. I think that's kind of like a lovely, just a photo to describe this year. I think this is kind of the end of the LAFC honeymoon period of starting into the season. I think stuff's going to change. Honestly, I think getting rid of Bob would just throw away the season. We still got a chance of making the playoffs. It definitely could be one of those crazy runs that only great teams make, like the St. Louis Cardinals did in 2000. So.
Don't bring in the Cardinals when the Dodgers are rolling right now.
But no, I think
now we're back to not being friends again. You know.
Look what you did, Blake.
Oh god, I think something could come this year, and yeah, I just want to see what happens and how it pans out.
JP, final thoughts?
I just think making the playoffs is a bit of a low standard for LAFC. If we want to be taken seriously around the league,
well, I would agree, especially this season.
If we want to be taken serious around the league, around the world or whatever, playing playoffs is easy for any LA team. That should be minimum. But you know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you start. It matters how you finish. That's something my English teacher would say in high school. It doesn't matter how you start, it matters how you finish.
Look at you, educating us.
How inspirational this is.
Giving us the third grade quote.
You froze.
Oh, you froze?
In the middle of that, telling us such
a man.
Froze. I was very inspired, and then
I was agreeing with him.
I was like, this is exactly what Hawaii needs to hear right now. My man froze. Look. No, I'm glad we had this conversation because I feel like it definitely needed to be had. It definitely needed to be had, even though JP froze. But look, I just want to see what happens this next month or this final month or of August with LAFC, because I think that Galaxy game is really big, and without a doubt. And I think a lot more players need to step up. Obviously, Bob Bradley, it falls on him, and obviously he's the leader of the crew. It definitely falls on him at the end of the day. Look. Coaches are going to get let go before GMs or players or anything like that. That's in any league. That's in any sport. That's right. Typically happens.
I brought up Chelsea. I mean, dude, he's a legend. They let go a legend because it has to be done at times.
Yeah. But look, you got your final thought. Let me get my final thoughts in Hawaii. I know you're hyped. But look, we'll have to see what happens because this year has been very difficult, and I feel for like LAFC. Being in their 4th year, I feel like making it to the MLS Cup final should be like the bare minimum this year. making it. Like whatever happens in the game, that happens in the game. But I think bare minimum for this team, obviously that it doesn't look likely right now. Anything can happen, but I think those has been the expectations. That's what Carlos Vela has talked about, winning a championship. There's really no light right now, but I want to see what happens. These next few weeks. JP, do you want to finish your final thought and your motivational quote?
Yeah, I mean, it's the second half of the season. It's not like there's 2 or 3 games left. There's more than 10, more than 15, so that's plenty of points to get us maybe top 4 at best. But yeah, I mean, look, like I said, I'll give it until Trafico. B-Rod should be 100% fit. Fall and Sebas can get minutes in the back line to help cement it. Arango should get way more comfortable and acclimated into the team, and hopefully he can get some goals in, and we'll be good to go. I don't like to be that much of an alarmist, but yeah, I mean, I think El Tráfico is either gonna take us up or keep us in this very, very wobbly spot that I don't think this team should be in, especially having the talent we have and being MLS Cup contenders as we were in the preseason.
Nope, fair enough. Look, guys, I appreciate you guys being on. Everybody in the comments, everybody commenting there on Twitter, Facebook, and also YouTube. Appreciate you guys being on. Hawaii, I appreciate you being on. Blake, it's always great to have you and giving your take. JP, always great to have you guys. So for these fellas, everybody tuning in. We'll catch you guys next time. Bye, everybody.